Hey guys, Braden here with Spring Fever Custom Calls, back again this week. Tonight we're going to discuss a topic that's kind of controversial in the turkey hunting world. We get people that, they ask us this at shows. I've got Facebook messages. I know that my pro staff, Matt Dale, he gets this question all the time. I see it pop up on the live feed when he's doing a Facebook Live. And that question is, should you call to a turkey while it is on the roost? My belief that I truly 100% believe in is yes. And I am very vocal in the mornings before that bird flies down. And I don't know, I haven't really came up with a reason why not to call to a turkey that's on the limb, still in the roost. So, I think anybody that's turkey hunted very much, and that if they've been in close to birds on the roost, you would know, or they would know, that turkeys are very vocal animals. And it's all year round. Even in the fall, when you're deer hunting, if birds come in and they're roosted around you in the morning, when the wood starts coming alive, those birds become very vocal. You hear a lot of kee-kees, a lot of purring, clucking, yelping, and the same thing goes in the spring woods. These turkeys, it is that time of year where they are driven by a sex drive, and they are very vocal. The males are up there gobbling. The females are, they're up there yelping. Jakes are yelping. If I am a hunter and I am trying to replicate a real live hen, I'm going to be the same way. So I want to be vocal in the morning. Now, I'm not saying going in there and being extremely loud. I'm not saying going in and calling, very loudly with, very high frequency calls. I'm talking about soft calling, low yelp, some purring, some clucking, to make it sound like I am a real live hen right over there by him, and I want him to, eventually come my way. And, another way to look at this is, if you go in and you don't say a word, you keep your mouth shut, and you just listen to these birds gobble, you hear hens interacting, you can hear gobblers responding. Well, that's what he's doing. He's responding to her, she's responding to him, and in my eyes, they're planning a date. And when he flies down, he's been hearing her. He's familiar with her tone. He's familiar with her yelp, and he's going to pitch down in favor of her side, because that's something he's familiar with. They've had that conversation already in the morning. If you've sat there and not said a thing, you're behind the 8 ball right from the start. You've got to play catch up. You've got to change his mind. Turkey hunting's hard enough the way it is, and you've got to go in there and change his mind and say, hey, don't go to her, turn back around and come this way. I've been sitting over here all morning. You just didn't know it. So to me, that doesn't make sense. I want to be ahead of the game. I want to go in there and right off the start, let him know that I'm there. Now, it's also true, though, that I will let a turkey gobble several times before I call to him. He can sit up there and gobble and gobble and gobble, but also if you've done your scouting and you're familiar with these birds like you should be, if you're prepared, you should know about what time those birds fly down on average. So you can kind of plan that on when you're going to start applying calls to him. If it's still pretty dark and it's not, I've had birds in the past that start gobbling well before daylight, and I know they're not going to fly down for 30 minutes to 35 minutes. I'm not going to sit there and just keep calling to him for 35 minutes. I'm going to wait until I know that it's getting, a little bit daylight, getting closer time to him fly down. And then I'm going to start throwing some calls at him. And again, I'm going to use light, soft calling techniques and start that conversation with him in the morning. Once I can get him to respond, I know that he hears me. I know that he's answering me. I'm not going to keep pouring fuel on the fire, but every now and then, I'm going to let him know, hey, I'm here. I'm interested. Pitch down this way. And you guys have seen other videos, or if you haven't seen my past videos, one of the videos that I'm really passionate about is the fly down cackle. That's one of my favorite calls, and I think it's extremely deadly. I know for a fact it can help you kill birds. I've killed several birds because of the fly down cackle. I've done that and instantly seen birds pitch down into our lap, basically, and we've killed them strictly right off the roost. So that's another way of proving that, calling to a bird on the limb, I don't think it can hurt you. Yeah, I mean, if you do some crazy stuff, it could hurt you. But in the general everyday turkey woods, those turkeys are vocal. They're used to hearing that. They're used to other hens being loud. I more often than not, in the morning right off the roost, I hear other hens. I can hear other birds yelping and doing things like that because there's a lot of turkeys in the area, and they're all being vocal. It's not just it's kind of uncommon not to hear other hens making hen noises. So I want to be a part of that conversation, and again, I want to start that conversation. Hey, come check me out. I don't want to be behind the game. And I've always asked people that have they've questioned this. I asked them, well, what time do you show up to the turkey woods and to hunt? And most of them have answered before daylight. Why? That's my response. Why do you show up before daylight if you're not going to call to a turkey on the roost? You might as well just let him pitch down and let him stand over there and gobble, and then work your way to him. Unless you just want the cover of darkness to slip in a little bit closer. But that's really the only reason why you would need to get there in the dark at that point in time. Because if you're not going to call to him, try to get in close and call to him, you might as well just wait till after fly down to show up. So, again, that's my opinion. Right or wrong, take it or leave it. I don't have all the answers, but that is something that I do believe in. Is getting there, getting in close, and starting that conversation with that gobbler first thing off the limb, or first thing in the morning before he flies off the limb, to try to coax him into your setup. So hopefully that answers some of your guys' questions, or if some of you guys are new and you've kind of heard that, oh, well, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. Don't be afraid to call. Don't get it into your mind. Don't become crippled because you hear that stuff. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. But I do know for a fact that turkeys are very vocal in the morning, in the roost, and I want to be as real as I possibly can to convince him to come in. So, anyway, hopefully you guys got something from this week's episode. We'll be back right here next week. So remember, put your next long beard on speed dial with a Spring Fever custom call. See you guys.